Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going deep on success and wealth creation.
Ooh, sounds exciting.
You guys wanted to know about those less traveled paths, and we found just the story. We're breaking down an interview with the creator of the Seekin YouTube channel, Jushan.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that channel. Interesting guy.
His story's pretty amazing, starting from humble beginnings.
Humble beginnings, how so?
Well, his father was a taxi driver, but from there, he built his own empire.
Wow, talk about defying the odds.
Exactly. It really shows you don't have to be born into wealth to achieve it. And you know what's interesting?
What's that?
Jishan's dad, even with his tough job, was super focused on education, worked hard to make sure Jishan could study engineering. You know, that typical path to a stable career.
Yeah, makes sense. Solid career choice engineering.
But get this.
Okay, I'm listening.
Jishan realized pretty quickly that engineering wasn't going to give him that financial freedom he was looking for.
Ah, so the traditional route wasn't cutting it.
Nope, not for him. He saw a lot of other engineers struggling to find good-paying jobs, and that whole 9-to-5 thing, not really his style.
Yeah, I could see that. So what did he do? Jump right into starting a business?
Well, not exactly. At first, he got kind of pulled into that whole multi-level marketing thing.
MLM. You see that a lot these days.
Yeah, it can seem appealing, that quick path to riches, but he realized it wasn't for him.
So another dead end.
I wouldn't say a dead end, more like a valuable lesson. It solidified his feeling that the usual paths weren't leading to the kind of wealth he wanted.
Makes sense. Got to learn from those experiences.
Exactly. And this is where things get really interesting. This experience pushed him toward entrepreneurship, and he made a big discovery: the power of books.
Books, huh? So he found some secret formula hidden in an ancient text.
Huh, not quite. He noticed something about a lot of successful people.
Okay, let me guess. They all had MBAs.
Nope. Even simpler than that, they were all big readers.
Ah, the power of knowledge.
Exactly. Jishan realized that to be successful, you gotta learn and be willing to learn from others.
So Jishan transformed into a bookworm.
Pretty much. He started reading everything he could about finance, business, self-improvement, you name it.
Sounds intense.
Hmm.
Any book in particular that stood out?
Yeah, there was one that really hit him hard. Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh, yeah. Classic. That one's on my list.
It's a must-read. For Jishan, it introduced this whole idea of building assets instead of just working for money.
Right, that shift in mindset from employee to owner.
Yeah. Instead of just focusing on a paycheck, he started to see the importance of creating wealth, investing, having his own business.
Powerful stuff. It's amazing how a single book can have such a huge impact.
Absolutely. Shows you the power of knowledge, opening your mind to new possibilities.
You got to seek out information that challenges how you think.
For sure.
Yeah.
So now the big question is, did he keep all this amazing knowledge to himself?
Good question. I have a feeling I know the answer.
You're probably right. Jishan's a big believer in sharing knowledge, empowering others. That's how his YouTube channel, Seekin, was born.
Seekin, right. That's all about book summaries, isn't it?
You got it. He focuses on finance, success, personal development books, making complex ideas super accessible.
Makes sense. It's like he's democratizing knowledge, right? Everyone should have the opportunity to learn, regardless of their background.
I love that. So through Seekin, he achieved his own dreams and helped others grow too. Talk about a win-win.
It really highlights the power of sharing. But his insights go way beyond just his own journey. He spent a lot of time dissecting what makes other people successful too.
Really? Like who?
Well, for example, he did a deep dive on Ranveer Allahabadia, the guy behind the Beer Biceps YouTube channel. You know him.
Beer Biceps. Yeah, he's got that big platform all about fitness and personal development.
That's the one. Ranveer's built this incredible brand, and Jishan tried to pinpoint what made him so successful.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What did he find?
Well, one of the biggest things was this burning desire that Ranveer had.
Burning desire. That's pretty intense. Is that something you're born with?
It's a good question. Jishan saw this real passion in Ranveer right from the start. Reminds me of something from Think and Grow Rich. Have you read that one?
It's on my list.
Well, it talks about this kind of relentless drive. Jian even told a story about how Ranveer was networking at some event.
Oh, yeah. What happened?
Instead of just showing up, he was actively connecting with people, asking questions, always looking for ways to learn and grow.
So it's not just about wanting something, it's about really going after it.
Exactly. That's the fuel that keeps you moving, even when things get tough. Jishan thinks that's often the difference between those who dream and those who achieve.
Interesting. So a burning desire is what lights the fire, so to speak.
I like that. But that's just one piece of the puzzle. Another thing Jishan noticed was the importance of mentorship, having someone to guide you.
Right, like having a map when you're exploring new territory. Did Ranveer have a specific mentor?
Yeah. He was connected with this entrepreneur and investor, Manesh Pandey. And Jishan really highlighted how crucial that was for him. Someone to give you advice, support, a different perspective.
I can imagine. It's like having someone who's already climbed the mountain show you the best path. They can warn you about the dangers, too.
Exactly. And a good mentor can help you spot your blind spots. Those things you might not even realize you're doing wrong.
Makes sense. So much to learn in this game. A mentor can really make a difference.
For sure. Especially in a field like content creation, it's easy to feel lost or overwhelmed. So having someone who's been there can be invaluable.
Totally. So burning desire, a mentor. What else did Jishan pick up on in his analysis of Ranveer?
Another big one was teamwork. From the beginning, Ranveer built a solid team around him. He knew he couldn't do it all alone.
Right, the whole teamwork makes the dream work idea. No matter how talented you are, you can achieve so much more together.
Exactly. Jishan even mentioned that quote from Richard Branson. Surround yourself with people smarter than you.
I love that quote. It's all about tapping into the collective genius of a group. You get different perspectives, different skill sets.
And you can reach goals that would be impossible on your own. Ranveer knew that building a strong team was essential if he wanted to grow and achieve his big, hairy, audacious goals.
Ambition takes a village sometimes. But I imagine even with a great team, there are still bumps along the way. How did Ranveer handle those?
Well, Jishan pointed to one more key ingredient in Ranveer's success. Persistence.
Persistence, huh? Well, isn't everyone persistent to some degree if they want to succeed?
True, but Jishan's talking about a deeper level of commitment. He shared this behind-the-scenes story about how Ranveer's team would go above and beyond to get those high-profile guests for his channel.
Oh, how so?
They weren't just sending out invitations and hoping for the best. They were relentless, demonstrating real dedication, going the extra mile. Jishan saw that as a hallmark of their success.
Wow. So persistence isn't just about working hard. It's about that unwavering dedication to your goals.
Exactly. Even when it's tough, even when you face setbacks.
So the takeaway here is that you need that fire in your belly, the right people by your side, and the grit to keep going even when things get rough.
That's Jishan's recipe for success in a nutshell. And he's not just talking theory. He's backed it up with concrete examples from Ranveer's journey and the strategies that got him to where he is today.
I love how Jishan breaks down these seemingly complex success stories into these tangible, understandable elements. It makes it feel more achievable, you know?
Absolutely. And that's what you're all about here, right? Understanding the principles of success and then applying them to our own lives.
Couldn't have said it better myself. But wait, there's more to learn from Jishan's deep dives. We'll be right back after this quick break. And we're back, still diving deep with Jishan and all his insights into success. Before the break, we were talking about Ranveer Allahabadia, right? Super inspiring.
Totally. His story shows how important it is to have that drive, those mentors, But here's the thing. Jishan didn't stop there. He also took a deep dive into Raj Shamani's success.
Raj Shamani, the podcaster, right?
Yeah, the one with that massive following online. He's made a name for himself interviewing some of the biggest names out there.
I've heard some of his podcasts. Pretty insightful stuff.
Exactly. And Jishan wanted to figure out what made him tick, What were the keys to his success in that podcasting world?
So did he find like a secret formula for viral content or something?
Well, one of the first things Jishan noticed was Raj's communication skills. He's just naturally good at connecting with people.
Makes sense. You got to be a good communicator if you're hosting a podcast, right? It's all about that voice, that connection with the listeners.
Exactly. And Jishan thinks that's a big part of why Raj is so successful. He makes people feel like they're part of the conversation.
Yeah, like they're just hanging out with him, having a chat. It's interesting, though. Some people just seem to have that natural charisma. Think it's something you're born with.
It's a good question. Some people might be naturally more outgoing, but Jishan really believes communication is a skill you can learn.
So even if you're not like the most talkative person, you can still become a great communicator.
Totally. It takes practice and a willingness to learn, but it's possible. And, it's not just about being super extroverted or charismatic. It's about being clear, being yourself, really wanting to connect with people.
I like that. It's encouraging. So we've got good communication down. What else did Jishan find about Raj Shamani?
This is interesting. Jishan noticed Raj had this different approach to choosing his guests.
Different how?
Well, a lot of podcasters go for those big names, right? The super popular people, maybe just to boost their own numbers.
Yeah, you see that a lot. It's all about getting those downloads, those followers.
Right. But Raj, he actually picks people he genuinely wants to learn from, people he finds interesting, regardless of their popularity.
Wow, so it's more about the value of the conversation itself, not just the name attached to it.
Exactly. Jishan says that's what makes Raj stand out. It's about authenticity. And you can hear that in his podcast. He's genuinely excited to talk to his guests.
Yeah, that genuine curiosity definitely shines through. It's like he's just having these awesome conversations and we get to listen in.
That's a great way to put it. And you know what? It goes back to what we were saying about a burning desire. Remember?
Yeah, that passion that drives you.
Right. Raj, he's got that passion for learning. He's curious about people. And that's what fuels his success. It's not just about making content. It's about pursuing something he truly cares about.
It's like he's found that sweet spot where his passions and his work align.
Exactly. And Jishan really believes that alignment is important for long-term success. It's about being excited about what you're doing, creating something meaningful, not just chasing fame or money.
I love that. It's not just about the outcome. It's about enjoying the journey.
For sure. And, Jishan walks the talk, too. Remember how we were talking about his own journey?
Yeah, his passion for sharing knowledge, making it accessible.
Right. He created Seekin based on those values. So back to Raj. We've got good communication, choosing guests he actually cares about, that passion for learning. Anything else Jishan noticed?
Fill me in.
Well, Jishan pointed out that Raj actually shares a very similar philosophy, a focus on 4 key things for a good life.
4 things. Lay it on me.
Okay, they are health, wealth, love, and happiness. Both Jishan and Raj believe these are the foundations, all connected.
Makes sense. It's not just about money. It's about well-being, relationships, all that good stuff.
Exactly. It's a holistic approach. And get this, Jishan says this isn't just about personal fulfillment. It's also a great framework for making content.
Okay, I see where you're going with this. Content that speaks to those core needs, right?
You got it. Things that resonate with people on a deeper level. He even gave some examples like connecting something like coding to wealth creation or relationships.
So instead of just the technical stuff, you frame it in a way that people can connect with, like learn coding, find love.
Something like that. The point is, you tap into those universal desires. Make those even niche topics relatable.
Pretty clever. It's like finding that common ground, what connects us all. So to recap, we've got those 4 pillars. Genuine curiosity, being a great communicator, that burning desire, and always searching for that sweet spot where your passions meet your goals. Sounds like a solid recipe for success.
Jishan's definitely got some insightful observations. But it doesn't stop there. He also dove into this whole world of viral content. What makes things go viral,
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. Is there a magic formula?
Well, Jishan doesn't think there's a foolproof method, but he did pinpoint some key principles. One of the biggest is novelty.
Novelty. Okay, so you can offer something new, different, right? Stand out from the crowd.
Exactly. There's just so much content out there these days. You got to bring something fresh to the table. Jishan even gave an example of a creator who went viral by doing these really short 1-minute book summaries.
Huh, that's a cool idea. Taking something familiar and giving it a twist.
Right. It's all about being creative, delivering value in a way that grabs people's attention. But Jishan also pointed out it's not just about being different.
Okay, so what's the other way to make your content go viral?
Simply being better. Significantly better than what's already out there. Raising the bar,
So it's either being totally unique or being the absolute best at what you do.
You got it. And this applies to any kind of content, whether it's educational, funny, or just something that makes people feel good.
Right, because sometimes we just want to watch something that makes us laugh.
Exactly. Jishan even brought up Abhishek Kar, that guy who makes those funny reels.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those. Hilarious.
He's a great example of someone providing value through humor, making people smile. And Jishan argues that's just as important as, say, teaching someone how to code.
I totally agree. Sometimes you just need a good laugh to brighten your day.
Precisely. And Jishan thinks creators who get that, who cater to those different needs, are the ones who really connect with people. But even with amazing content, there's one more thing that's super important, and this might sound familiar.
Let me guess. Persistence.
You nailed it. Remember how we talked about that with Ranveer?
Yeah, it was one of the key ingredients to his success. But why is consistency so crucial for content creators?
Well, Jishan believes it's all about building trust with your audience, Showing up regularly, delivering on your promises, you're in it for the long haul, you know?
It's like building a relationship. You're reliable, you always deliver the goods.
Exactly. And he ties this back to Think and Grow Rich again. It's about that constant desire to improve, get better.
So it's not just about creating one awesome video and then disappearing. It's about always pushing yourself.
Exactly. And Jason argues that when you combine consistency with really understanding your audience and being willing to experiment, that's when the magic happens.
Lots of great takeaways here. But hold on, Jishan didn't stop there. He also shared some awesome lessons he learned from Tai Lopez's 67 Steps to Becoming a Billionaire. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yeah. That's classic Tai Lopez. What did Jishan take away from it?
Well, he highlighted 3 things in particular. The first one was adaptability.
Adaptability. Makes sense, especially in the digital age. Things are constantly changing.
Exactly. Jishan was talking about how the world is changing so fast, especially with technology. You got to be able to adjust, to learn new things. He even mentioned AI, artificial intelligence.
Oh, wow. Yeah, AI is blowing up right now.
Right. And Jishan was saying how young creators are using it in all these crazy, innovative ways. It's disrupting everything.
It's like if you don't adapt, you get left behind.
Exactly. The second thing Jishan talked about was having thick skin.
Thick skin. Interesting.
Yeah, he was saying how it's so easy to get caught up in negativity, especially online. People can be so quick to criticize.
Oh, tell me about it. The internet can be a brutal place.
Right. And Jishan's point was that you got to develop that resilience, that ability to brush off negativity and keep moving forward.
So it's not about ignoring criticism altogether. It's about not letting it get to you.
Exactly. You got to be able to filter out the noise, focus on the positive, and use any constructive criticism to improve. Okay, ready for the third lesson?
Hit me with it.
It's one we've touched on already. The importance of mentors.
Ah, mentors. We talked about that with Ranveer, but I'm curious to hear more of Jishan's thoughts on this.
Well, he really emphasized how learning from those who've gone before you can save you so much time and energy. They've already made the mistakes, learned the lessons.
Right. It's like they have a map and they're showing you the best route. They can tell you where the pitfalls are, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Jishan pointed out that finding a good mentor can be a total game changer. It can accelerate your growth in ways you never imagined.
It's like having a shortcut to success. But finding the right mentor, that can feel intimidating. Any advice from Jishan on that?
Well, he said the first step is just being open to the possibility. Be on the lookout for people you admire, people who've achieved what you want to achieve.
So put yourself out there, network, reach out to people you respect.
Exactly. And remember, mentorship is a two-way street. It's about building a genuine relationship, learning from each other.
I love that. It's not just about taking, it's about giving back, too. So mentors, thick skin, adaptability, those are some powerful lessons from Tai Lopez. What else did Jishan talk about?
Okay, get this. He also talked about the law of attraction.
The law of attraction. Isn't that like, think positive and good things will happen?
Yeah, that's the basic idea. But Jishan offered a more grounded perspective. He didn't shy away from the skepticism surrounding it either.
Okay, color me intrigued. What was his take?
He broke it down into 3 key parts: desire, belief, and action. You have to really want something, believe you can get it, and then actually do something about it.
Makes sense. It's not just wishing upon a star. You have to put in the effort.
Exactly. And he told that funny story about the guy stuck on a roof during a flood.
Oh, yeah, I think I've heard that one. The guy who refused to get in the rescue boat because he was waiting for God to save him.
That's the one. And Jishan's point was that belief without action isn't enough. You can't just sit around and wait for things to happen. You have to make them happen.
So it's about aligning your thoughts and your actions.
Yeah.
You got to meet the universe halfway.
Right. And he even connected the law of attraction to a scientific principle called the reticular activating system, or RAS for short.
Well, what? That's a new one for me.
It's basically a filter in our brains that helps us focus on what's important to us. You know how you start seeing a certain type of car everywhere once you decide to buy it?
Oh, yeah, totally. It's
Yeah.
like that car is suddenly following me around.
It's not the car, it's your RAS. Once you set your intention, your brain starts noticing those cars more.
So it's like our brains are wired to help us achieve what we focus on. That's cool.
Right. Jishan believes that's how the law of attraction works. It's about setting those intentions, believing in them, and then taking action. And your brain helps you along the way.
It's like a combination of mindset and science working together.
I love it. So it's not just about positive vibes and wishful thinking. It's about understanding how our brains work and using that to our advantage. But let's be real. Staying positive and focused all the time, that's not easy.
Totally. We all have those moments of doubt, those setbacks.
And that brings us to another one of Jishan's key philosophies. Nothing is black and white.
Ah, yes. Embracing the gray areas of life.
Exactly. He reminds us that success isn't a straight line. There will be ups and downs, twists and turns.
It's about navigating those challenges, learning from them, and keeping moving forward.
Right. Even when things are tough, we can still choose to focus on what we can control. And that's a powerful thing.
Absolutely. We get to decide how we react, how we move forward. But you know, it's interesting.
What's that?
Jishan also went into this whole discussion about cringe content and why it's so popular.
Ooh, yeah, the stuff that makes you kind of squirm in your seat, but you can't look away.
Exactly. And Jishan offers some pretty fascinating insights into why we're drawn to that type of content.
Okay, lay it on me. What makes us watch those cringy videos?
Well, he suggested that sometimes it's about feeling superior. Like, when we see someone doing something awkward, we feel better about ourselves.
That's interesting. It's like we're putting ourselves above them, saying, at least I wouldn't do that.
Right. And Jishan said this is especially true online. It's easier to be judgmental when you're hiding behind a screen.
Oh, totally. It's
Yeah.
like people forget there's a real person on the other side of the screen.
Exactly. But Jishan took it even a step further. He suggested that some creators actually play up that cringe factor on purpose.
Wait, really? They're intentionally making content that they know will make people cringe.
That's what he's suggesting. It's all about getting attention, getting views, even if it's at the expense of someone else.
That's a little messed up, isn't it? Kind of manipulative.
It definitely raises some ethical questions. Where do you draw the line between entertaining and exploiting people?
Yeah, it's a tough one. And Jishan doesn't give a clear-cut answer. He just wants us to think critically about the content we consume and the creators we support.
Right. He leaves us with this thought-provoking question. Are we the ones being entertained, or are we the ones being played?
Whoa, that's deep. It makes you think about those motivations behind the content, right? Are we getting genuine value, or are we just feeding into something that's ultimately harmful?
That's the question, isn't it? And I think that's what makes Jishan's insights so valuable. He's not just telling us what to think, he's encouraging us to think for ourselves.
To be more mindful of our online behavior and the choices we make.
Exactly. And I think that's a great place to wrap up this deep dive.
It's been a wild ride. We've covered so much, from those humble beginnings to burning desires, mentors, and the power of consistency.
And let's not forget adaptability, thick skin, and the importance of choosing your content wisely.
So much to think about. Huge thanks to Jishan for all these incredible insights. And thanks to you, our amazing listeners, for joining us on this deep dive.
We hope you found it as fascinating as we did. And remember, success is a journey, not a destination. So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing yourself to be the best version of you.
Until next time, stay curious. All right, we're back and ready to unpack more of Jishan's wisdom. Before the break, we were about to dive into his take on the law of attraction. You know, that whole think positive and good things will happen idea.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear how he tackled that one. It can be a bit of a controversial topic.
Oh, totally. But Jishan didn't shy away from it. In fact, he offered a really practical and, dare I say, grounded perspective.
Okay, all ears. How did he break it down?
Well, he started by kind of demystifying it, you know? He said it boils down to three main things: desire, belief, and action.
Desire, belief, action. Okay, that makes sense. You got to want it, believe you can get it, and then actually do something about it.
Exactly. Jishan's point is, it's not just about wishing or hoping for things to happen. You got to actively align your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions with what you want to achieve.
So it's not a passive thing. It's an active process. You're not just sitting back and waiting for the universe to deliver.
Exactly. And to illustrate this, he told that classic story about the guy stuck on a roof during a flood.
Oh yeah, the guy who refused to get in the rescue boat because he was waiting for a miracle.
That's the one. He was so convinced that God would save him that he wouldn't take any practical steps to help himself.
And, well, that's not exactly how things work, right? You got to meet the universe halfway.
Precisely. Jishan's point was, faith and positive thinking are important, but they're not magic bullets. You got to put in the work, take those steps, you know? Make things happen.
It's about taking responsibility for your own outcomes. I like that. So it's not just about wishful thinking. It's about aligning yourself with opportunities.
That's a great way to put it. And you know what's really cool? Jishan even connected this idea to a scientific principle called the reticular activating system, or RAS.
The what? Okay, you're gonna have to break that one down for me.
Basically, it's like a filter in our brains that decides what information we pay attention to and what we ignore.
Interesting. So what does that have to do with the law of attraction?
Well, think about it this way. Have you ever noticed how once you decide to buy a certain car, you suddenly start seeing that car everywhere?
Oh, yeah, totally. It's like they're suddenly all over the place.
Right. But it's not that there are suddenly more of those cars around. It's that your brain is now tuned in to notice them. That's your RAS in action.
Ah, so by setting our intentions, we're basically telling our brains what to focus on, and that makes us more aware of those things in the world around us.
Exactly. And Jishan believes that this is how the law of attraction works on a neurological level. We set an intention, we start believing in it, and then our brains literally start looking for ways to make it happen. Pretty cool, right?
That's fascinating. So it's not just some mystical force, there's actual science behind it.
Exactly. And it shows how powerful our minds can be in shaping our reality. But of course, it's not always easy to stay positive and focused, especially when we hit those inevitable roadblocks.
Totally. Life throws curveballs,
Yeah.
and it's easy to get discouraged.
And that's where another one of Jishan's key philosophies comes in. Nothing is black and white.
Ah, yes. Embracing the gray areas, the nuances.
Exactly. He reminds us that success isn't a straight line. There will be ups and downs, twists and turns. We got to be prepared for that.
It's about riding those waves, learning from the challenges, and remembering that the journey is just as important as the destination.
Right. And we get to choose how we react to those challenges. We get to decide how we move forward. It's empowering.
Absolutely. But speaking of ups and downs, Jishan also went into a really interesting discussion about cringe content and why it's so popular.
Ooh, yeah. The stuff that makes you kind of uncomfortable, but you can't help but watch.
Exactly. And he had some really thought-provoking insights into why we're drawn to it.
Okay, I gotta hear this. Why do we watch those cringy videos? What's the appeal?
Well, Jishan suggested that sometimes it's about feeling superior. When we see someone doing something awkward or embarrassing, we feel a little bit better about ourselves.
So it's like a bit of a ego boost. We're looking down on them saying, well, at least I'm not that person.
Right. And he pointed out that this is even more common online, where people feel more anonymous and less inhibited.
Oh, for sure. It's easy to be judgmental when you're hiding behind a screen.
Exactly. But Jishan actually took it a step further. He proposed that some creators might actually be playing up that cringe factor on purpose.
Wait, really? They're intentionally creating content that they know will make people cringe. Why would they do that?
Well, it's all about getting attention, getting views, even if it's at the expense of someone else's dignity.
That's kind of messed up, don't you think? It feels a bit exploitative.
It definitely raises some ethical questions. Where do you draw the line between entertainment and exploitation? It's a tricky one.
Yeah, and Jishan doesn't offer any easy answers. He just wants us to be more aware, more critical of the content we consume and the creators we support.
Right. He leaves us with this powerful question. Are we the ones being entertained, or are we the ones being played?
That's a great question. It makes you think about the motivations behind the content, right? Are we getting genuine value, or are we just feeding into something that might be harmful?
Exactly. And I think that's what makes Jishan's insights so valuable. He's not telling us what to think. He's challenging us to think for ourselves, to be more conscious consumers of content.
To be more mindful of our choices and our impact. It's a powerful message.
Absolutely. And I think it's a great note to end on.
I agree. So there you have it, folks. Another deep dive complete. We've explored so much with Jishan, from those humble beginnings to the power of mindset, the importance of mentorship, and the ever-changing landscape of content creation. It's been a wild ride.
Definitely. Jishan's given us so much to think about, and hopefully our listeners feel inspired to apply some of these insights to their own lives.
To go out there and create their own success stories, whatever that looks like for them.
And remember, success isn't a destination, it's a journey. There will be ups and downs, challenges, and unexpected twists and turns. But that's all part of the adventure.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep those wheels turning.